Hi everyone, my name is Junon. I have a health science background and I'm the author of the book Truth and Empathy, How to Find Your Soulmate. And I'll put a link to the book below. This video is the MBTI personality type assessment of Cate Blanchett. But before we dive into this topic, I'd like to underline something about my book. It is written from a health science point of view, so we'll be looking at the anatomy, physiology, brain dominance, neurotransmitters, and so forth of the 16 MBTI personality types. And based on this information, you can determine your own type. And since I do advocate that like attract like, you can determine the best match for you long term when it comes to romantic relationship. And also I do include in the book tips and certain suggestions to improve your overall health, because I think that everyone should be their best selves when they're trying to attract the right romantic partner. So let's go back to the topic at hand. Like when we look at the 16 MBTI types, they can be grouped into four main ones. The first ones are sensory judgers, the second sensory perceivers, the third intuitive thinkers, and the last one intuitive feelers. Based on my observations, I think that Cate Blanchett is a sensory perceiver, and I will explain why. I have some notes on screen so I don't miss anything. Catherine Elise Blanchett is an Australian actor and a former artistic director. She is regarded as one of the best female actors as well as one of the greatest performers of her generation. She's known for her versatile work across independent movies, blockbusters, and the stage. She was born on May 14th, 1969, and now she's 53 years old. Blanchett was 10 when her father died of a heart attack, leaving her mother to raise her family. She has the siblings, so she has an older brother and a younger sister. She has described herself as part extrovert and part wallflower child. During her teenage years, she had a penchant for dressing in traditionally masculine clothing and went through a goth and punk phases. At one point, she even shaved her head. She studied economics and fine arts at the University of Melbourne, but dropped out after 1 year to travel overseas. In 1990, she moved to Sydney and enrolled at the National Institute for Dramatic Art and graduated in 1992 with a Bachelor of Fine Arts. She received numerous accolades, including 2 Academy Awards, 4 British Academy Film Awards, and 4 Golden Globe Awards. Some of her well-known films in which she starred in are Queen Elizabeth I, The Aviator, Blue Jasmine, Notes on a Scandal, Elizabeth, The Golden Age, and so forth. In terms of her activism, Blanchett has been a long-term proponent of individual and collective action on climate change and other environmental issues. For example, in 2006, she joined former U.S. Vice President Al Gore's climate project. In 2007, Blanchett became the ambassador for the Australian Conservation Foundation. She also is working with the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, so the UNHCR, and she's been working with them since 2015. In May 2016, the UNHCR announced her appointment as a global Goodwill Ambassador. In terms of her personal life, she's married to playwright and screenwriter Andrew Upton. They met in Australia in the mid-1990s and they married in December 1997. They have 3 sons together, Dashiell, Roman, Ignatius, and they adopted a daughter. Her name is Edith. Currently, her net worth is around $95 million. If we look at Cate Blanchett's life trajectory, it is typical of sensory perceivers. So by her late teens, early 20s, she showed an interest in the arts. So more specifically acting. And that's why she decided to go and study theater and become an actress. Although obviously when a person decides to follow their passion, especially if you decide to become a performer and entertainer, there are no guarantees. And Cate Blanchett, when I was watching different interviews of her, she's like, she was not that interested in becoming famous or making a lot of money. She said that, she wanted to explore different aspects of herself, and she's known to be very versatile. So you'll see that not only that when they decide to become, like, it's an actor in her case, is that she can, morph into different roles, and obviously they have different levels of talent. And Cate Blanchett is very well known for, being very good at, immerses herself in different roles, and that's why she has, earned a lot of like nominations and has won, so many awards for her ability to really being, a top actress. So that's one thing. And we'll see, like, in the case of someone like Cate Blanchett, and I think that maybe it has to do with the culture in Australia, is that they're rather humble, they're easy to get along with. So in other words, it's really about the craft in her case. So when it comes to whether Cate Blanchett is a masculine or feminine energy, I would say that she's most likely a feminine energy, even in terms of the vocabulary she uses, because she puts a lot of emphasis on being authentic and being herself. So you'll see people who have introverted feeling, either the first or second function, I will actually put more emphasis on that. And she comes across during interviews, or even in terms of how she interacts with her husband, and how she talks about her children and so forth, is that there's a warmth, there's a sort of like a softness to her that points to someone who's right brain dominant. So that's why I would say that she's most likely that. And I think that people who have this right brain dominance tend to be better at immersing themselves in different roles, because they have to have a high empathy, so be able to understand their characters on an emotional sort of like gut level. So in other words, you have to be able to put yourself in another person's shoes. So I think that people who are right brain dominant tend to have an easier time doing that as actors. So that's one aspect. Now, whether or not Cate Blanchett is an introvert or extrovert, I mean, she did describe herself as being almost like ambivert. So she said that, when she was growing up, she was kind of a wallflower, but she was not too much of it like a recluse, but she was not like the heart of the out of the action. So I would say that based on how she behaves on the red carpet, and we don't know that much about her personal life. Yes, she's married, she has 3 children, a biological children, and also, she adopted a daughter and so forth. But, she's not, part of the group of people of actors or entertainers that are always in the news. So in other words, yes, she needs to promote her movies and so forth. But after that, she likes, her quiet sort of like home life. She goes back to, Australia, and she wants to be with friends and family and cultivate that. So I would say that she comes across more as an introvert than an extrovert. So I would say, even in terms of like, in other words, based on that, she would be an ISFP. And that's why I think it's very much in line with that personality type, because these are the true artists, quote unquote. So the ESFP, the extrovert version, are the entertainers. So they like to draw attention to themselves. But the ISFPs are more concerned with, am I producing something I'm really proud of? They don't mind not having like high income. I mean, yes, she's worth $95 million, but compared to a lot of other, let's say, entertainers, and she's been, producing really high quality work for a number of years, you would expect her to be worth, I don't know, like 100 million, 200 million, even more, but it's not her case. So in other words, and even in terms of when she talked in different interviews, she's like, she doesn't mind even having supporting role. So for her, it's like, okay, is the whatever I'm doing is high quality. It doesn't matter to her whether or not she's earning a lot of money or she's being recognized. It has to do with how she feels about the work itself. Again, based on this information, I would say that Cate Blanchett is most likely an ISFP. Let me know if you agree or disagree with this MBTI personality type assessment by commenting below. If you like this video, if you learned something, please click on the like button. Also, remember to click on the notification bell to be notified of other videos I'm going to be making. Subscribe to my channel, and we will talk soon.